Let me guess, you want to learn trading, but don't know where to start. Maybe you've tried strategy after strategy or watched countless tutorials, but yet still struggling. And so in this video, I'm going to explain how I learned everything in trading so you can fast track your journey. And if you're new, I'm Kiran and I'm a professional trader specializing in commodities, indices, forex, and cryptocurrencies. And I've been in the markets now just over a decade. And so I've really been in the trenches. And I've also helped traders worldwide go from struggling to being consistently profitable. Now, let me just ask you a question. What does focus stand for? Well, focus stands for follow one course until successful. See, a lot of people start stuff but never finish. Like, for example, when you start a diet, do you finish it? Do you learn a new skill, but then do you actually finish it? See, a lot of people start trading but then quit. Then they get cynical and heartbroken and say things like it doesn't work. And the problem is delayed gratification is so underrated, but it's your best friend in trading. And so please don't come into trading expecting that it's going to work overnight. No, there is a natural learning curve, just like anything else. When I first started trading, I did what most people did. I Googled random things, watched videos, blogs, and downloaded apps. But I had no clue what I was doing. I was pretty much throwing darts, blindfolded, and naturally I lost money. And I want to make you realize that more information does not equal more profitability. See, a lot of information is just the blind leading the blind. And when I started, I got lost in a sea of trend lines using things like support, resistance, chart patterns, and hundreds of indicators. You name it, RSI, MACD. But more information does not equal more profitability. It's about how you actually use information. Because there's a difference between an analyst and an actual profitable trader. And maybe you're feeling insecure about your knowledge. Perhaps you feel you don't know enough. Maybe you're reading about fundamentals and arguing with people on forums. But again, ask yourself, is news itself an edge or an advantage? Because there are institutional grade traders, so event-based traders, that actually have early access to the news. And so it's not about the news event itself. It's about who has access to the news first. And again, the chart tells a story. Of course, there's no harm in learning things like candlestick patterns or market structure. But again, these are just the basics. And the skill comes from actually taking that knowledge and being consistently profitable. Because again, there's a difference between an analyst and an actual trader. Traders actually have trades open. And I tried all these typical retail methods of trading. And 5, 6 years ago, I faced a bottleneck. And I was actually almost ready to give up trading. But at that point, I had just finished a major set of exams for my training to be a doctor. And I'd booked travel plans to go back home. But just before I went, I saw an advert for a trading conference. And so I thought, okay, what's the harm in checking it out? And when I went there, there was a presentation by a personal trainer. And he explained how trading enabled him to go from being stuck in the gym floor with back-to-back clients and actually having more free time to work part-time, which really inspired me. But I thought, will it actually work for me? I was a bit skeptical. But then sat next to me was a man named Robbin, and he had a beard and glasses, and he was in his 40s, I would say. And he actually traded for a Swiss bank. And he explained to me that my method of trading was very subjective, very emotional, and actually banks and institutions actually target the style of trading. And that's when an actual light bulb went off. Because the main problem that I was facing was discretion. So I was relying on hope, second guessing myself, reading the news, with no real system or strategy. I then realized what I actually needed was a trading framework. So, a step by step set of rules to really remove the second guessing. And I became obsessed. I refined, I iterated. And I would also recommend you practicing on a demo account because you will make mistakes. But this is how you test your strategies and develop the framework. I also networked with top traders, some who worked in hedge funds and were institutional grade traders as well. And piece by piece, I was able to refine my strategy. I initially felt that I was stuck in a fog, but as I backtested, as I iterated, that fog seemed to clear. See, if you're not consistently pulling out money from the markets, the problem is really simple. And this is what I call the trading diagnosis. The first problem is you don't know what an edge is. And this is a statistical advantage. So a strategy that comes up profitable across 10, 20, 40, 50, 100, 200,000 trades. See, a lot of people are just second guessing themselves with a lot of these subjective trading methods. But because of a lack of underlying edge, you're not coming up profitable. And you're probably spending hours in front of charts, maybe 40, 50 hours per week, inadvertently just creating a trading nightmare. The second problem you might have is maybe you have a strategy, but again, because you're reliant on guesswork, discretion, so taking inconsistent choices and actions, and therefore inconsistent results, the market just has an edge over you. And so you're really set up to lose from the start. Ultimately, any idiot can make money in the markets here and there. But without statistics backing up your trades, you're going to give back money to the markets in the long run. And so when it comes down to it, these are the two main problems that losing traders face. And in trading, if you're failing to plan, you're planning to fail. But fortunately, the good news is that there are solutions to these problems. When it comes down to it, it's two things. The first thing is actually having a strategy with a statistical edge. And this is all you need. You need a strategy that comes up profitable across a large number of trades. But on top of that, you need number two, which is the ability to manage risk and execute long term. Because you could have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have enough shots left, you won't be able to live to fight another day. And people really try to overcomplicate things. The reality is simplicity is better. We will have winning trades, but we will also have losing trades. But the main problem that I see with clients before they come to me for help is because of a lack of an underlying system, they often cut their winning trades short and they let their losing trades run. And because of that, they come out as unprofitable. I can't tell you the countless number of people that have said to me, Kiran, I'm in a massive unrealized loss. I'm hoping the market will turn so I can get out of break even. Should I keep holding my trade or should I just let the loss run? And my answer is the same. I always just suggest just cut the loss, take it as a lesson and just move on. And often those people that ignore that advice, they keep holding the trade and eventually that single trade just wipes out their entire account. Just a single trade taken by guesswork, just being emotional, discretion. And instead of losing maybe 1 or 2% of their account by using a stop loss, they just wipe out their whole account, then get devastated and crushed by that single loss. And if they had a clear set of rules saying, enter the trade here, put the stop loss here, put the take profit here, get out here, that problem would have not existed. And I want to explain to you that the real learning in trading happens with execution. And trading, again, is 80% execution and 20% knowledge. And trading execution is really the bridge between theory and actually being profitable. I mentioned that you should start off with a demo account, maybe a small $100 account after that, once you've got proof that you're profitable on the demo account. And then you can focus on scaling. See, a lot of people FOMO, they get emotional. And I think a common cause of that is having a small account size. They feel the need to rush, make a single winning trade that will change their life. Once you're consistent, you can actually scale up and access more capital. And so it's really important to focus on consistency and just trusting in the process. In terms of books, people always talk about Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. And that is a good book to tackle trading psychology. But initially, I feel your priority should be on competence, developing your strategy, backtesting it, refining and iterating. And only once that problem is solved, then should you focus on psychology. There will be days where you feel like giving up, and many people won't even understand your trading journey. They just can't fathom that some people are actually playing life to win as opposed to playing life not to lose. And the main thing is to be persistent. One thing that I want to clear up is that everybody pays in trading in some way. Some people, they try to figure out trading on their own. Maybe they watch random videos or tutorials or read forums. But those people tend to pay the market directly by losing more money and losing time. Other people, they invest in themselves and learn from mentors to accelerate their learning curve. The people that try to learn it on their own end up doing both, usually in the long run. And in my own situation, about 5, 7 years ago, I actually made $300,000 in trading, but I became overconfident, which led to losses. Then I actually took a large chunk of that and invested in my education. I learned from top traders, some who worked in hedge funds, and that enabled me to get to the next level. And one of them actually said, Kiran, how much is not knowing what you don't know costing you? And that's something that's really resonated with me for a long time. And you just have to do what works for you, ultimately. See, initially, I was skeptical about this whole trading thing. Around 5, 7 years ago, I was training to be a doctor. I was balancing medical exams, but also with trading. I was watching trading videos, tutorials, trying out strategies, and just burning out. But I knew that if I'd followed everyone else's advice, I would be stuck in a life like theirs. And what I really wanted was freedom and to really take control of my life. And so I just decided to go for it. And that's when everything changed. And if you're ready to trade profitably without sacrificing time for what really matters, then you can't afford to skip my previous video in which I cover common trading mistakes.